calm down when they're told multiple times. Maybe you know this from experience. Here's a little thing just to be aware of. Our voice only goes so far, right? If you tell your class, everybody go on the carpet, maybe half come, half don't. Okay, I'll say it again. Come to the carpet. And a few more trickle in. I'm gonna say it again, and you're like, I'm using so much energy, right? So like, our voice only goes a certain way. If you feel like your voice is not being effective or not effective enough, use another tool. Maybe get the bell. Maybe use a light. And we'll talk about these strategies. Everybody raise your hands up. You know, like change it up. Okay, everybody jump. And you start jumping, and then you're gonna see your kids jumping. That's how you get attention. So your voice only could go, even me, even though I'm talking to you right now, I know you're not processing everything I'm saying, or you're not gonna remember everything I'm gonna say. It only stretches so far. Then we have to use other modalities, okay? And the last one. That's interesting. We talked about the brain, and we talked about the limbic system. And remember I told you the limbic system is like a wireless connection that we all are connected with each other wirelessly. And we can pick up on each other's emotions and feelings and things like that. So the limbic system is also part of the brain that controls amygdala and the hypothalamus. So when we are perceiving a threat, like a bear or whatever, feels like a bear, the amygdala, the alarm goes on. And that's when we're in survival mode. We either have to fight this threat or flee, right? Fight or flight. And this is what stress does to us. Basically, this is in the back of the brain. In the front of the brain, we have the prefrontal cortex. This is where we have logic, reasoning, problem solving, all those complex thinking. Do you guys think that if one part of the brain is like turned on, the alarm is off, the other one is going to be functioning at full capacity? No. Yeah, no. This one's going to be a little muted. It's going to be on turn off mode. So if a child is under stress, or even you as an adult, if you're under stress and this part of your brain is turned on, are you able to think logically? No. Think of multiple ways to solve a problem. No, you have a hard time. So when you're asking your kid who's fidgety, who can't sit still, who's whatever the situation, sit down, stay still, relax, calm down. You think that's effective? No. So what happens is the amygdala goes off, but when the amygdala, recognizing that the problem is still not solved, the threat is still there, the hypothalamus kicks in. That's where we put our brakes. That's called a freeze response. And so what happens is we literally freeze in our own body. We feel like we can't move. And so sometimes we think like, oh, if I reprimand this child just hard enough, they will listen. But guess what you're doing when you're reprimanding? I don't like your behavior. This is not expected. You're not following the rules. Their stress is going higher and higher and higher. And then you're like, oh, I did my job because they're in freeze mode. Right? But that's all fear-based. Do kids learn under fear? No. Kids learn when there's love, when they feel relaxed in their own body. So when they're under this freeze, their brake pedals are constantly being pressed. When that happens, they're depleting more energy. Even though they look like they're still and they're maybe have their hands folded and they're smiling like they're supposed to, they are depleting more energy. And over time, what does that look like? That looks like they have more impulsive behavior because they don't have enough energy in their system to go through and problem solve through difficult situations. Every little thing that we don't, any little thing, their bucket is already like depleted, any little thing can create a explosion. And sometimes we have kids, we're like, we don't understand, they were just playing, everything was fine, and all of a sudden, the pen fell, or somebody took his toy, and now he's, acting out this way, out of control, I don't know where this came from. It's because they didn't have enough energy reserves already, to start with.